Steve, I've always been fascinated with audience etiquette at plays these days. So, like, people are sometimes talking, making noises,
Yeah.
doing cell phone calls. When you're doing dinner theater, is that like an accident waiting to happen?
At dinner theaters, that's like you might as well do it at a football game. That's what dinner theater. If you get good prime rib in the other room and you're like drinking a lot of Bloody Marys, that was my first job. Was at a dinner theater. It was like 800 people, just like busloads of people, just eating beef and then coming to see your play, and it was that was good training actually. Wednesday at matinees, a lot of it was all hearing aids, the whole it was an orchestra of them, just to keep like composure.
When an actor comes to New York, everybody seems to have a great, weird job when they're waiting for the big break. What kind of unusual jobs did you have when you came to the big city?
Day player on a soap. I didn't really, when I got to New York, I was not, my weird jobs came earlier. I worked at a machine shop in Minnesota before, when I got my first professional job. I was actually working a tool and die place making Sven saws. They're camping saws, and I was working blade and stud, where like hot metal would hit you. And I remember seeing that. I was on tour with Bye Bye Birdie, and we were, I think, in Toronto. I don't know where we were, but I was in a camping store and I saw the saw. The owner was like, "I made these." He was like, "Great, man, whatever. You want to buy it?" "No, you don't get it, man. I made this."
All right. Now, turning to a memorable movie that you made, Crimson Tide. You know, the guy with the...
Wait a second. Was I in that? Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, you were the guy with the keys, the missile guy.
Yeah, I had that little speech there.
Yeah.
I had a couple scenes. There was like 4 of us hired for 8 weeks, and they cut the scenes when we were in flight going there. So we played poker for like 8 weeks and got paid, and Tony Scott would like, "Hey, we're paying those guys, right? Bring them in here." And so they'd call us in. Tony would like, "Turn down the radio." Use this as much as possible. It was actually very fun. I died. I got the pipe in the head at the end.
Okay. Well, did people ever recognize you at all from that?
Only, yeah. If I'm bleeding from the skull in a pool, then people like, "Hey, you were that guy in Crimson Tide." No, people don't recognize me.
Right. Well, turning to this movie, the Ambassador Hotel has a lot of history.
It was great shooting there, in an interesting place. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like a lot of movies are shot there, but a lot of old history. Did you do the walk through the kitchen?
Oh yeah, I did that whole thing. That's seeing that. That was an eerie place actually. There's a lot of kind of weird, ghosty feeling there. But that's and kind of interesting doing this 1964. I remember doing an interview in the room where like Bobby Kennedy gave his last speech, which was kind of like, it was kind of weirdly, connected to this like age of innocence and this, you know what I mean? This pre-Vietnam, that when that broke up this country, and it was kind of interesting actually.
They use that hotel for a lot of movies. When it was all dressed up like that, did you find people pulling up thinking that the hotel was reopened?
Yeah, no, because it was just that little section, you got that painted, and then like 2 feet over here, it's like, cracked and everything. And but it looks great. They do up certain rooms and stuff like that. So you'd walk through, a ghost hall, and then you'd see this elegant room set up. Eerie.
Okay. Now, a question about Tom Hanks. I know everyone's asking about what it's like to work with him.
Yeah.
What did you find about him that surprised you? Was he a lot more in tune to what an actor needed than you thought imaginable?
Well, I imagine that he was quite, obviously for obvious reasons. What I found remarkable about Tom was, aside from all of his, stardom and his awards and everything, he was like, he at many times he just wanted to be another band member, and like, he'd bring in his Rickenbacker and plug in and play with us, and it was like, it was almost like we were letting him in our group, you know what I mean, as opposed to the other way around, which made it a great experience,
And a quick question, how did people on the street react to him when you were shooting?
Oh, there's tons of people. We would walk right through. We could be painted orange and on fire. People would just like, no, pay no attention. And they would chant in the streets outside, and so we'd have to stop, and he would walk out, and every 2 hours, like, do a gump thing, and he was great, and kept them going, until they started chanting again.